Good morning and welcome to the Capital Gang. I am Oscar Semoyamsoke, and the weather today is excellent for gang. Excellent for radio, and as Moses Kaule, who's not left the studio yet, would say, we have a bevy of topics. Benjamin Katana is in the studio with a fading red shirt. I don't know whether that's the tide.
Good morning, Oscar.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure.
The keyword was fading red shirt.
That's why I had to dispute the fading aspect of the red shirt.
Okay, it is not fading. We have Joseph Otieno Ojame. You're most welcome to Gang.
It's an absolute pleasure being here. I must say that I'm putting on fantastically dark blue suit because I'm on my way to the Ojame Kingdom. All roads lead to the east. And of course, as usual, my red tie is hidden in the jacket. But it's a pleasure being here. Fantastic.
The ever optimistic Joseph Otieno.
For the future of this country, yes.
For the future of this country, not the future of UPC.
Inclusive.
You're most welcome. Edgar Tabaro is in the studio and quite smart this morning in a blue blazer, a black shirt. What's going on?
The mood is great. I returned from my other workstation, Bujumbura, last night. Burundi reopened its border with the DRC, and its security has been bolstered by its close relationship with the Trump administration. So for those of us who got to do business there, it's the greatest of news we've had in recent times.
And what's this with, there was a deal, President Kagame called some states.
Senator.
Yes, and then they had a deal and those things happened.
No, there's been a lot of behind the scenes. There's been a lot of behind the scenes.
If it's behind the scenes, how come we know?
Things always leak. There's other things that never come out. For instance, President Macron, Emmanuel, has been very critical. He's been working the phone, calling all these heads of state in the region, and in particular addressing the escalation between the Republic of Burundi and their northern neighbor. And, that's why I saw a bit of the withdrawals here. And the security chiefs of the two countries have been meeting regularly. But there's meeting, but also the political level may not be necessarily the same wavelength. But we've had a de-escalation between the two countries, the Burundi and their northern neighbors. And for us, it's good news, and we are buoyed by that.
And I know two Tabaros who are my friend is Edgar and Kwezi, and they are always the ones who know about these things.
So people mistake Kwezi. Kwezi Tabaro has relatives in the DRC. Actually, he's a relation of, I think, the king of Mitego. The king of Mitego. They are closely related, and he's always mistaken for a brother of mine. But we've interacted for nearly 2 decades. And
but when I want to talk about Congo,
and they belong on two sides of the conflict in Congo.
Two different sides. Which sides? There are many sides to the Congo conflict, Mr. Kat.
Two different
No,
sides.
there are many sides, and incidentally, my first daughter is called Kwezi Tabaro. So sometimes I send messages made for my daughter
to Kwezi.
For the other Kwezi, and I realize a minute later or an hour later, and I have to delete. This
Tabaro here might be a persona non grata in Rwanda. So I don't know how far that has gone.
That is true. That is true. And
the other one. Welcome.
Very welcome. But I'll avoid mentioning the name of the country you are attempting to mention because I don't want. I've been the subject of missives between the two heads of state, and I don't want to escalate situations because I think.
So now that we have you here, and we will not mention the name of that country, what's happening to the M23? Are they collapsing? Because and strangely, one seems to have been shot in Congo, then one has died in Uganda. In Uganda.
This is what happened exactly. But there's nothing like M23. Don't be deceived. It is the elephant in the room.
Wow.
Right.
It's the elephant in the room. There's nothing like M23. Don't be lied to.
What are you saying?
What is the so-called M23? Is the People's Defense Force of that elephant in the room that I'm not going to mention.
I've not known you to.
Yes.
I've not known you to be a coward.
No. You know, there's rapport. There's what do you call it? Rapport. There is between Uganda and that elephant, and since I've been named many times, I've been subject of bilateral discussions. Diplomatically, I don't want to escalate things, and I do respect my president, and I'll rally behind him.
We are not going to let it go just like that. So is M23 finished?
There's
That's
nothing
what you're
like
saying.
M23, please.
It is finished.
There's nothing like M23, but this is the strategy that the DRC.
If you don't mind, there is nothing. There has never been. Or you're saying it's no longer.
No, there was M23 at some point.
Right.
But the interests in Congo are largely economic. I've written in the New Vision many times. You can even go on Chimp Reports, Nile Post of. I've given my thoughts in writing about the conflict in the DRC. It's largely economic. And these other persons who want to access the resources in the DRC use ethnicity, the badge of ethnicity. They organize under the badge of ethnicity to access those resources. And this is what is at stake at the moment. Now, the DRC government has entered the deal with Trump. Trump is clearly transactional. He never hides it. At every press conference, at every opportunity.
And as a Pan-Africanist, you're very happy about it?
No, I'm coming to that. And by the way, I don't like that label of Pan-Africanist. Because many persons who claim who are Pan-Africanists.
But don't
the persons who claim to be Pan-Africanists, when you remove the veil, they are ethnic bigots. So I'm not very comfortable being.
But we don't have to go there.
But
we don't have to go there.
No. I'm a businessman. And I believe in expanding business. So this is what is happening on the ground.
You and Trump may be brothers, but what's happening on the ground?
On the ground, so DRC entered a deal with the Trump administration for exploitation of its minerals on a 60-40% basis. One of the annexures to the contract is to provide security and defense. The Congolese army is terribly ill-trained to handle the much better organized, much better equipped, much better trained forces of the elephant in the room. So they've gotten Blackwater of Eric Prince to provide both training and
mercenaries.
No, they are not mercenaries. They are not mercenaries. They are contractors to the U.S. government. The U.S. government is in partnership with the DRC. So they are there on invitation. They are not mercenaries. So they are guarding key installations of the DRC, including aerodromes and the mining sites. Now, once you have the aerodromes under your control, then it's difficult for some of these shenanigans to approach or to whatever to be. So, Blackwater is using superior drones. They fly for 72 hours in the heavens. Now, for 72 hours, flying a drone in that part of you collect a lot of data, you monitor signals. So that's why they were able to identify and locate where the leadership of the political and military leadership of the so-called M23. 18 of them died. Makenga had managed not to escape, but was driving away from that area in a convoy. So the convoy signals were also picked and they were bombarded. So as it were, I think the strategy of FARDC, the forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, is to go for the entire leadership. And once you have the leadership weakened, then, because they've been using it as a front, then, the next confrontation is going to be, it will be very obvious. But most importantly for the Republic of Uganda, Blackwater is deploying in Ituri. And if the authorities are listening, they should up their diplomacy and outreach towards Kinshasa, towards Bujumbura, and more importantly, Capitol Hill, the Oval Office.
I'm going to come back to that in a second, but the one who died in Uganda, do we have his colleagues in Uganda?
He's more likely dead than being alive, because the information we have, he requested...
So it's not confirmed that he's dead?
Let me put it this way. They were supposed to be evacuated to the Elephant in the room, one of the military hospitals, but it never happened. So the permission to evacuate him to Uganda didn't come through quickly, and he more likely succumbed to his wounds. And in circumstances like this, I mean, we've heard people talking about the death of so-called rebel leaders. You remember Garang? There many times he was pronounced dead. We have Dagalo in Khartoum. So in circumstances like this, the dynamics I've seen in the past, when a rebel leader is announced dead, when rumors of his death start emerging, the best strategy is for him to come out in the open and say that I'm alive. So where there are delays stretched to a number of days, and letting speculation go on, then he's more likely to be dead than be still living.
And the question to you, do we have you like to call it so-called M23? Do we have those people in Uganda?
I've not interacted with the M23, and I don't see myself interacting with them in any time soon.
And then, since you are urging Uganda to work with America, what about the Uganda forces that were invited into DRC to pursue rebels
ADF.
Against Uganda?
ADF. Yes, ADF, and that's exactly what I've been writing over time in the New Vision, in this other media, and said these things severally on electronic media, NBS, that whoever has security concerns in the DRC can only handle it through bilateral and multilateral arrangements, not unilaterally. If you go there uninvited, you have invaded the country. And aggression is a crime under the ICC. And the country that has been, to the extent that there's aggression against the DRC has it's within its right, whichever way, to deploy against and also invite other neighbors or any other nation to bolster its defenses and confront that invading force.
But according to Oscar, Uganda is invited formally. And what is your answer to his question?
Yes, by invitation. And it's accepted under the UN. It's in the DRC by invitation.
So that's fine.
That's very fine. And to the but I do support Uganda's presence in the DRC. One, because we are protecting our oil resources. Two, we are deepening, what I like to say, deepening, smoothening, and widening the East African cooperation integration. But also importantly, the roads that are being done there, that part of the DRC, Eastern DRC, is 3,500 kilometers away from Matadi, the port at the Atlantic Ocean. Mombasa is only about 1,650 kilometers. So the Eastern DRC relies more on Mombasa for its for access to the sea. Now, the roads that we are doing there are clearly opening markets for us in that part of the country. And I'm very much behind you in this.
Benjamin Katana, NUP Treasurer, you've heard from Matters Foreign.
From a businessman.
From a businessman.
Clearly indicating that his interest in the conflict is largely business. And I'm glad that Edgar made that disclaimer, because what he has done
is generally known.
Is peddle the official narrative of the DRC government, which is more or less the official narrative of the Burundi government in reference to that specific conflict. And I think it is dangerous for anybody to try to indicate that there are no ethnic dimensions to the conflict in Eastern Congo. There could be some actors on account of economic interests who are taking advantage of the ethnic tensions, but for anybody to find a lasting solution to the conflict in that particular area, because this conflict has existed before the current actors, before the current Rwanda leader became president, before Tshisekedi became president. There has been a conflict. If you have been following the developments in Eastern Congo, even from the time of independence in the 60s, it has been a subject of international conferences on how especially they can deal with the question of the Kinyarwanda speaking community in Eastern Congo, who became Congolese by virtue of boundaries, just like some Kinyarwanda speaking people became Ugandans by virtue of the colonial boundaries.
I'm one of them.
Yes. So I think and the other, there are some actors in Congo who think that these people are not Congolese. So I think for anybody to find a lasting solution, because you can eliminate Makenga, you can eliminate Makanika, they have very strange names.
There's another called Tawimbi.
Yeah, you know, rebels always, I don't know if these are their usual names or names they have adopted. They always adopt such stylish names. But I think even if you eliminate them, if you do not address the driving, the underlying factors, other actors will always take advantage of them. And Edgar is struggling to say that the force that is operating in DRC is not a mercenary force. They are a mercenary force. Because what other interests do they have in that? It is not ideological. It is not territorial. Their only interest is profit. Because they have been hired.
Made it clear Trump is transactional.
Yes, they have been hired. And the history of mercenaries is that they will come, they
make their money.
They make their money, and destroy what they can destroy. They may even be able to neutralize the force they are up against, but it does not address the tragedy of Africa is that whereas wealth and resource is supposed to be a blessing, but on account of our inability to build strong, enduring states, these resources become a liability. Because it is that another dimension of the conflict in Eastern Congo, that everyone else is trying to get a piece of the mineral wealth, and they want to do so through illegitimate means, not through legitimate business and trade. You have seen in reports that much of the gold exported from Uganda originates from Eastern Congo. Because the involvement of Uganda may be on invitation, but there are people who are taking advantage of that involvement to engage in illicit trade. If you move around this town, if you are a lawyer like Edgar, you'll bump into so many people ordinarily who should be doing government work, especially in the security circles, engaging in illicit gold trade.
Selling minerals.
Yes, and minerals that have originated from DRC. So the conflict has so many dimensions, and I don't think the elimination of the command structure of M23, whether it is M23 or any other force operating there, will not bring the conflict to an end. And for the neighboring countries like Uganda and Rwanda and Burundi and others, Tanzania as well, they have no choice but to be either part of the solution, or they will also
be part of the problem.
or by implication be victims of the problems in Eastern Congo. Because if you go to our refugee settlements, most of the people are from North Kivu. They are from Congo, they are from Sudan, on account of conflicts that we have been part of, maybe as looking for solutions, but sometimes as active participants in escalating the conflict.
What would an NUP administration do differently?
I think first and foremost, to put aside personal interests. That is number one. Number two, to be the good neighbors whose involvement in a conflict is not to take sides, not to seek personal benefit of individuals within the government, but also to create a platform and leadership for peaceful resolution of conflicts in the neighboring areas, but most importantly, to strengthen and professionalize the security forces So that when you have our forces involved in a conflict as a peacekeeping force, their involvement is not easily is not easily tagged personal or disoriented along the way. Benefit. You know, Uganda. One of Uganda's problems has been that every time we get involved with Congo, then people end up pursuing personal interests. You know the story of Amin. You know the case where we have been paying reparations to Congo, the ICJ ruling, where people went to Congo on.
That they are your relatives, Benjamin.
Yes, but it does not change. It does not change facts. It does not change facts. You know, facts have no color. They have no. Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge has been that every time we get involved, we lose the neutrality because we get sucked into the partisan conflicts in those countries, largely for benefit not of even a nation. There has even been an argument that, unlike the neighbor that Edgar fears to mention, that when Rwanda, for example,
he doesn't fear, he just didn't mention
went into that conflict, that you what is benefiting, though illegitimately, is the country. But Uganda, it is the individuals that have benefited, not even the country. What is plundered does not go to state coffers; it goes to personal pockets.
Yeah.
But just a quick one.
Hold on. Let's get Joseph first.
The gold from the DRC is what has really critically kept our currency stable.
Let's first go to Joseph. and Edgar, have some Star Cafe goodies. Always powering the gang.
I'm a coffee grower, so I'll
the
gladly,
coffee is there.
gladly
Yes.
take. Thank
So
you.
yes, Joseph, you asked Benjamin, what would an NUP government do? What would your faction of UPC do?
What they
In
did
this-
with Amin.
Is the right person to ask since gold and Congo.
Oscar, that's why this panel is extremely important. So you've just helped create a situation in which both Edgar and Hon Katuntu are put in their places on the question of the history of their country. Edgar, you should be very pleased and very proud when you meet Congolese, and please convey to them our messages as Ugandans, but also as UPC. A future UPC government, would do exactly what we did before. And that is something that I find extremely absent. One, I would be very concerned, and Edgar, for the first time, I'm going to disagree with you mildly, that I'm rather concerned that you're almost, I was going to use a strong word, you're welcoming American Trump administration, the president of Congo. I cry for Congo. I've been campaigning for Congo over a very long period of time, actually, and I've supported advice.
Somesa is intimidating me today.
No. We have Yeah, but the point is this: that from as early as our independence and as early as the killing of Patrice Lumumba, the position has been very clear that as Africans and as people like you, politically, from your ideological perspective, part of the things we should be pushing is, one, independence for Congo. Number two, regional integration of this area, which I totally agree when you refer to the road, but you refer to the road more from an economic perspective. But then three, greatly, this reclaiming of the African continent and the African resources in a holistic and democratic way. So the sovereignty of Congo. But number three, that we have to depend on the US, which we know is actually engaging in Congo purely, strictly for monetary gains, when we know that part of the struggles we are having is some of their creation by what they did actually at the early part of independence. It's unfortunate. But in any case, where I agree with you and where I agree with the Congolese government, it appears, Oscar, that by the time the Tshisekedi government was going to Congo, to the US, they had no option. I think it was possibly the nearest best thing they could do was to go to the Americans, and in a way sort of seemingly is working for them. And to the extent that actually it is saving a country to break away.
They came to Uganda, they went to South Africa. Who else has been there? Is it Namibia?
I don't agree with you that, well, they did, but I mean, when they come into Uganda, I was actually feeling very sad for them. It's almost like sending a tiny little cheeky dog to go and just pick up your tiny little small meat in the particular corner. So that's what they did. No, what UPC did in the 60s, young men and women listening, was to support the Lumumbist forces reclaiming of Congo and supporting Congo to build capacity as Congo. The Amin element, the only Amin element was that Amin did what NRA guys are doing today officially. Amin went, he was sent there to support the process as a senior military officer, to support the Congolese. And he got involved in gold deals, money. My late mother used to say money and the things that can take people to hell and heaven. So Amin got involved in this. Do you know what we did as a government? And that's what the UPC government will do in future about any crooked general. Amin got involved in dubious deals.
Prosecuted him.
Prosecuted him, but not only that, and in fact he was going to be dismissed partly because of that, but because the CIA was
a little bit of distortion. There was a commission of inquiry.
Yeah, that's right.
Headed by Justice Del Stank, now retired. The Chief Justice Wambuzi was the secretary to that commission of inquiry. It actually cleared Idi Amin. Idi Amin was only a conduit for transferring resources to the Lumumbists and the Milele rebellion that were trying to reestablish. There was the Mulungushi Club, you remember?
Yeah. But without delving.
No, because I've read that report.
Yes,
I've read that report.
The point he's trying to make is that at least there was a intended prosecution.
Yes.
And in a way, Edgar is supporting the fact that actually there is evidence that even some of Amin's involvement was possibly not as badly presented.
No, it was sanctioned.
By the crooked Ugandan opposition.
And by the transaction by the Gote, Nyerere,
indeed.
and Kaunda.
By the crooked Ugandan opposition and some of the Ugandan opposition who were working with dubious agents, who were CIA agents, to destabilize Uganda and destabilize the region. And that's why, as I say, that's why my problem. I don't know whether in this generation, young Katana, we shall get Africans who are both in UPC and across this continent.
Don't call him young Katana. Katana is presidential material.
But
don't patronize him.
Normally I do that because I'm older, but I also do that because I'm a mentor to Katana, and Katana will respond.
Edgar, switch off your microphone.
And I do so in a very deliberate and specific way. Partly because actually they're the future, and we really need guys like Katana to be part of the future going forward. And that's one of the reasons why when I say this, I hope they're listening. This continent needs Africans who will emerge, to focus on leadership, to focus on mobilizing the resources, to focus on making sure that the African resources are really mobilized and organized for Africans, but not for profit. When we engage with America, we should engage. Yes, strategic interest works. And of course, the UPC government at the time engaged with America strategically, but it was no transaction as it is today. But I'm glad that this has happened. But I think you're right, Oscar, that this guy who's alleged to have died in Uganda, under what circumstance?
Fred Bamwine is here.
Oh, Fred is here.
Let me ask him that question.
Fred,
so you're most welcome to Gang. Mr. Fred Bamwine, a little bit late to Mwalimu's class, but you're here.
Sincere apology.
Yeah, so I want to conclude on this topic and look at road accidents in Uganda, whether we can even call them accidents. But so how many more M23 people do we have in Uganda?
Thank you, Oscar.
I ask him because Fred Bamwine likes always to say things like intelligence is telling me. And it looks like this guy died without intelligence telling him. This guy died without intelligence telling him. So how many more do we have in Uganda? Are they by invitation? Are my neighbors also M23? We need to know these things.
Thank you, Oscar, and good morning, viewers and listeners of Capital Gang and my colleagues here. And I am really sorry for the delay to be here in Mwalimu's class. I apologize for not to be punished. Now, this subject happens to fall in my profession. I'm a student of international relations. And when we were starting the class, there was a question, whether international law is law. And my lecturer, when we continued tickling him, he said, by the end of the 2-year period, you have known whether it is law or not. Philip Kaseja.
Edgar, the other week I posted on Karugaba and said to don't allow me to off foot skate. And now Sami Ruwama has written, the problem with Edgar Tabaro is he never answers direct questions. He looks for technicality in everything.
Yes.
Now he's seated right next to Bamwine.
Me, I'm a university professor, so
I listened to...
And he has started straight away.
I listened to my colleague Edgar. I think I was shocked. Because when I heard Edgar saying that Pan-Africanism, some people use it for ethnicity, I got surprised. Because me and him and others, at least we know that a group of whites came to Africa and shared it in Berlin on a table. And that sharing made people belong to other countries when they are supposed to be one. And in 1962, when there was the AU conference by Kwame Nkrumah, 63, the argument was, should we remove the boundaries? Said, it will create more problems than we have. But if we work for a united Africa, the boundaries will collapse naturally and there will be no need. Now, anybody to claim that there is no group that is in Congo who has relatives in Rwanda and even relatives in Uganda, one community divided into 3 states. 4. Including, yes.
He did say that, yes.
No, because he was using, because you see, Pan-Africanism would say we should have our own continent as Africans, united as a group. 2, I will never be, I don't know whether I should use it never, but I'm not a fan of any white domination. So for America to come and bomb these fellows, I cannot applaud it. But even if you kill them, you will not kill the spirit. No. I was another DC in Ntungamo. You find you are resolving land conflict. But a man has 2 families, one in Uganda, another one in Rwanda, at the border. So the mere fact that you are killing a leader does not remove these children to know that we have our relatives across. And therefore we must have a say in this. So the conflict you are seeing in DRC, I don't want to wish M23 off. Because this, whether you like it or not, it is a formation out of an agreement in Goma. That's why it was made on 23rd March. That's where the name M23 is derived from. So whether you wish them off or not, it's a permanent organization. It is there to fight for the interests of the Banyamulenge.
No. M23 is not Banyamulenge.
Okay,
no, please.
Those who speak,
I told you it's an opportunity. M23 are not Banyamulenge.
So M23 to arrive at the agreement with the DRC, it was not a one-man business. It was agreed out of a consensus. So for you to run out of that agreement, you don't just mention it. No, you go to the same process. How did we arrive?
We before you came, we had that agreement here that just killing them may not solve the problem.
It will not completely.
But I want us to
actually complicate it.
Yeah. But
Tabar
here is saying now it is finished. It is not complicated.
That's a wishful thinking.
It is wishful thinking.
I can assure
but my direct question to you that you've not answered yet: how many M23 people do we have in Uganda?
First of all, I don't know the number of M23. How many there are
in Uganda?
And I don't know how many there are in Uganda because this is not their country.
Right.
They may be here as visitors, they may be in transit. So I don't know them. So I can't speak for them.
Training and treatment desk.
I can't speak
No,
for
by
them.
the way, in combat, in combat,
For them. So,
in combat,
to me,
the rules of combat.
so
of
to
war.
me, I think I would
if
Hold on, I'm
a
going to
person
give you
is
last
injured,
to me, I
I'm
think
going to give you last one.
I would propose when we get such a platform, we should know that there are our relatives and brothers and sisters who are dying, and the continent is not at peace. So we should be coming out with amicable solutions to bring a lasting solution, other than complicating it. Because once somebody hears that you are wishing him off, you say, okay, let me see whether I'm off.
The person in this studio who can provide solutions is probably you, not us.
Yes,
For us
you
here,
know
we
the
can
government of Uganda.
Speculate and discuss.
The government of Uganda has been, if there is something we have done well, is our foreign policy engagement.
Really?
For instance, in the DRC, as we speak, we are not there as masqueraders. We are on invitation, and our reason to go there was very simple, was very specific. When we were attacked by the dissidents who wanted to use Congo as a base, and the Congo, we So we had to negotiate with the Congo and say, according to diplomacy, let us pattern in removing this problem if you are not the back. And the Congo said,
Okay.
yeah, come and we pattern.
Thank
So
you.
the operations in Ituri, all
we,
of them are
we discussed it as well, saying
joint operational,
Yeah.
and therefore, to me,
Apart
I would
from Joseph,
propose-
we think
Uganda is
very
on
small.
both sides, Oscar.
Yeah.
It has the,
But
the
even if-
rebels,
even if-
also has the
No,
government.
even if it is on both sides, our mission has been simple: peaceful resolution of the conflict by using diplomacy.
By using
as
the
a
arms.
means- Of course.
Let me.
So
If
you're going to speak
but
last.
of course even in
Fred
diplomacy,
Bawini, I want us to.
There's even what we call gun boot diplomacy. It's part of diplomacy.
It happens.
So it has been there. For us, we should always pursue as a government
Okay.
a peaceful negotiation,
Tabaro,
and more so.
you
build
speak
a
last
united
on
Africa.
Oscar, before you allow him to speak last, maybe Bamino could also add, you remember recently there was an incident in Kinshasa
Yes.
where Congolese, following the comments of the chief of defense forces, whom he says, because he says Uganda is neutral in the conflict and
Yes.
is using diplomatic
Vandalized our
means,
embassy.
vandalized our embassy on account of the threats from the chief of defense forces of the Uganda army
Yes.
to invade Congo. So is that part of the diplomacy?
But you see, what you forget.
And finally, if you don't mind, I was rather concerned when the discussion about sharing the sweets happened with the US at the top. That Uganda wasn't a party of the table. Was Uganda part of the table?
But you know, you're
So
talking about Congo as a sovereign state. Don't forget that.
Oh, indeed.
And a sovereign state has a right to either have bilateral agreements or multilateral.
Exactly.
So that was a bilateral agreement. It was not a multilateral one.
Gentlemen,
So you'll not say that once you are going to be
want-
friendly to
I
USA,
want Edgar
be a friend
Tabaro
of this
to
one.
conclude with a
Okay.
direct
That-
question.
okay.
Two
The
questions.
issue of,
Fred Bamwini, I want us to finish this topic with Edgar Tabaro. On
you're allowed to pose a question.
Ye-
I don't want to leave it in.
but the questions we had been going round them.
We have been
There's one for
certificate.
Katana.
I don't want you to answer that one. Tabaro can answer it. Tabaro can answer that one.
Yes, please.
So there's a question from Katana. Why did they torch our embassy? One question from that Bamwina has not answered. Do we have M23 people in Uganda? And question number 3: how will this end?
Okay, now,
All of this in 3 minutes.
critically in combat, the rules of the rules on combat on war, when combatants are injured, there are rules of engagement, evacuation. You evacuate them to go for treatment
That's okay.
Yeah,
but
that is okay.
You go to the question because you don't have time.
So
do we have M23 in Uganda?
that I've never interacted with M23, and I don't see myself
So you don't
interacting
know.
with them anytime
Okay.
soon.
What happened
So,
to our embassy in Congo?
I was not there, but more importantly, I want to conclude. I want to conclude on this. I agree with the aspects of ethnicity and what have you. Now, the question of ethnicity in Congo goes beyond the Kinyarwanda-speaking people. There are issues of ethnicity involving Nande, Bahunde, the Lendu. So, to reduce the aspects of ethnicity to one ethnic grouping is extremely misleading. And that's why I've said that you cannot go and solve Congo's problems unilaterally. You need the East African community, you need SADC, you need the community of Central African states,
okay.
you need the international community, you need the development partners.
So in short, it might not end.
It has to be multilateral.
All of them have been
as long as, for so long as there's got to be unilateralism in Congo,
yeah.
Believe me, the aggression will be fought.
Okay.
And lastly, better be a dog alive than a dead lion.
Well spoken. Benjamin Katana, you did not stand for parliament. You did not stand for parliament, but you put out MPs and you got them. And I give you an opportunity to welcome our gang speaker.
Yes.
No.
The prospective House Speaker.
The prospective House Speaker. Yes.
That is true. It's on record.
You taught her
and
where?
I'm proud of her.
Thank you.
I was her law teacher.
Okay.
And supervised her dissertation, and she passed highly.
So, do you like the product?
And
I'm proud of the product.
Okay.
And I think she would make a more decent speaker than the current holder of the office.
Now.
At least she has no record of being sanctioned.
So you're most welcome
But
to
the teacher is not saying
gang.
anything.
You're most welcome to gang. Honorable Lydia Wanyoto.
Thank you so much, Oscar, and to my colleagues on the gang, and to my lecturer at law school, also my supervisor. I want to request my brother Katina to be careful, because Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure that for electing the speaker, we don't campaign. So we have to draw the lines and be able to be in line.
Does that rule stop people from expressing opinion?
Well,
that's Katana can express his own opinion.
Yes, I'm not bound by those rules.
And I withhold him. But
Oscar, thank you for the goodwill. I feel nice to see people in the gang at least wishing me well. Thank you.
So
and being proud of me.
Thank you. I must also ask you some questions.
So I shouldn't stop at greeting. Okay.
No, you have done greeting. Greeting should be like 2 seconds.
I also bring you greetings from Mbale City.
Okay, you're still greeting.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a joke we have in Burundi. Our internet is so bad there. So when you're making WhatsApp,
there's no time to greet.
No, you start with a message. Then the greetings can come later.
Greetings come after, because you might lose the message. It's the same story of someone who went to talk nicely, then the one who wanted the salt came and took the salt, or the one that the axe came and took the axe. So you remain with nothing.
So Lydia, when we had a discussion here at the time, I thought you were chasing, Bioyavia, whatever, that the thing had gone because SEC had sat down and said they are taking a speaker. But now I've seen, you've just told us that there's a rule that says no campaigning, but there's obvious campaigning. We see people meeting others and others speaking to others. So the question to you is, who are you meeting? And will it work? Because if you're meeting no one, maybe things will not happen for you.
Last week I was here and I was able to let the listeners know in your business, maybe also saw it, that I'm expressing interest for the office of the Speaker of the 12th Parliament. And I'm going to follow the rules to the letter. I'm also going to follow the NRM rules to the letter. I'm a member of the NRM and a leader in the NRM, and I'm a founding member of the NRM party.
So you've not gone to meet the chairman?
I've written the chairman because
SS?
No, I'm going to.
You have not met the leader of PLU. There are so many. So you have not met the chairman. You've not met General SS. You've not met the chairman of PLU. Who are you meeting? Let me switch off all other microphones and you address those questions.
I was urged and encouraged by the voters of Mbale City, and I did announce from Mbale City at House Plot 49, Maluku. It's a historic place for us, where Mzee was in 1973, to do the following. Number one, to officially inform my colleagues who are members of parliament from Mbale City, but also Mbale sub-region, the Bugisu, then all the other members. And also inform the expression of interest to the party leaders. Some of them you have mentioned. I have written to His Excellency the President, who is also the national chairman of the party. I'm writing to all the members of Parliament, expressing interest, but also quoting both the party rules and the rules of procedure of Parliament. In my humble opinion, Parliament is very procedural with a lot of decorum. All of you know that. And I don't want to be a candidate that flouts the rules. You're supposed to be the custodian. The custodian of the rule of law of the country is housed in the legislature. The custodian of the Constitution of Uganda is housed in the legislature. The representative of the people, the people's voices, the people's expressions, especially people like Oscar, is housed in the legislature. So I cannot make a mistake, even if it would advantage me like the way you're talking. I cannot make that mistake.
Okay.
I cannot.
Let me talk to
flouting
you,
the rules, and yet I'm going to be the custodian of those rules. And I'm going to encourage all my would-be voters and supporters, just do it for me. Do not flout the rules. When the right time comes, I'll be a custodian of rules I have been proclaiming to be the custodian for the next 5 years. So that said, yes, Oscar, the stakeholders of the NRM party where I'm starting from, including Bamwine here. People, you see Bamwine, you think, but these are very serious stakeholders of my party. Even Edgar here is a professional lawyer.
Right in
these are very serious people of the NRMs. They are stakeholders. You cannot wish them away. So we will consult quietly, and where it is needed, we shall write and wait for the
You're
right
disclosing
decision.
my party affiliation.
No,
permission.
Stakeholders.
So Edgar.
Stakeholders.
I'm seeing
Edgar
the
Stakeholders.
Stakeholders. A question to you.
Yes, sir.
Is what other advice are you going to give to your student? Because I've put to her pertinent questions.
I hope I've answered all the questions.
You have answered as far as possible, as you've used a lot of legalese. So your teacher
I am not asking to be a mobilizer of the NRM where you can
see why I
dance
told
or
you I'm
whatever.
proud of her.
Yeah.
She's articulating
She's
the law
feisty.
very well.
So now,
Oscar, let me just finish. That office
You
is
don't want
meant
me
for
to ask him
purpose.
the
For
question.
purpose. You cannot just. It's not for everybody. You must fit the purpose. And I fit the purpose. It has procedure issues. It has decorum issues. It has protocol issues.
we know all those things. Edgar Tabaru, your student has not met the chairman of PLU, has not met General SS. Who are the people to meet, and what are the opponents? Who are the opponents meeting?
First of all, I must declare my conflict of interest.
Well,
the Honorable Lydia Wanyoto is a pal. I taught her for 4 years, and we have continued to interact.
we now have 4 lawyers in the studio.
The Honorable Norbert Mao is a family friend. Mao is a family friend, and I've interacted with. I was at Namiango College, where Mao left a record as head prefect. I became head prefect much later, 94, 95, and he's been a mentor in many ways. And I continued to interact with Mao even when he was in the mainstream opposition, even when it was inconvenient.
So you remember
for people on this side to interact with the people.
Remember the other Sami who said Tabaro does not answer questions. So the question to you was, who must Lydia meet, and her opponents meeting other people?
Yeah, but I think,
And I'm taking notes.
But I think all this thing is premature. I mean, there's still a parliament running, and the new parliament has the elected persons have not yet taken oath of office. So, if they are campaigning for the position of speaker, where should they be? Whom should they be meeting? Current members of parliament who have lost their seats, or the incoming members of parliament? Then there are many dynamics in the NRM. I know the names have to be taken to the neck. The last time, the information coming in that after the passing of the Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, the preference from the highest office was that for both Jacob Oboth, the Honorable Jacob Oboth, Minister for Defense. But the Deputy Speaker then, I think, had mobilized very well and done Haka Kuyege. But I would like to give a historical context to all this. In 1994, President Museveni nominated some 5 persons to be chairpersons to be elected as candidates for the chairpersonship of the Constituent Assembly. Those were Pahabolo, Ayume, and Habgoba. Unfortunately, they're all dead. I think Professor Victoria Mwaka, was the 5th person. I forget the 5th person.
The name will come.
Justice Ntavgova, after his introduction, pulled out, and I can say it on air, I don't have the permission, pulled out because information came that were he to take the chairmanship, a substantive principal judge was going to be appointed from the Katuntu's home area. Katuntu's home area. So he withdrew from the race. I think it remained between Ayume and Wapabulo. Now, Ayume was seen as an Amini person because he was Kakwa like Amini and had served Idi Amini as DPP. So unfortunately, it didn't happen. So 96, that was the 6th Parliament? The 6th Parliament, 1996. Previously, there was a Joseph Ekemu who had been sitting in for Speaker for the Right Honorable Moses Chigongo, Alhaji Moses Chigongo. So to pave way for Wapakabulo to have clear lead, President Museveni appointed Justice Ekemu as Attorney General, and he lost interest in being Speaker. Now, first for the same Wapakabulo was removed from the position of Speaker and appointed Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, where he did exceptionally well. Now, there came Ayume now as Speaker.
There came
NPC didn't do well. I have my own reasons. I don't know. But as a foreign minister, he really did well.
No, when he left speakership, he went to
NPC first before he. So I'm coming.
We have run out of time.
But I'm building my case.
We have 1 minute to the break.
I'm building my case.
10:59. The break is at 11.
I'm building my case. Honorable Ayume was appointed Attorney General to create way
for
not for Wapabulo, for second this time.
Wow.
So on this occasion, the outgoing Speaker could very be easily appointed to the executive and changes all the dynamics that we are talking about here.
Let's stop for a break. We welcome you, Honorable Abdul Katuntu. Welcome to Gang. Yeah, the road had to get out very early because that road is a bit tricky. John Mark Mwanika on X, formerly Twitter. Patience. Let's stop for a break. Welcome back from the break, jolly break as well. Honorable Katuntu is in the studio. Welcome once again to Gang.
Thanks.
There we were, thinking the matter was done and dusted. SEC had spoken. But it does seem that this matter is not done and dusted. And in the break, I've learned that you are also Tabaro's teacher. So we have teachers all over here. And then I asked Lydia, who is she meeting? And she's saying she's going to follow the rules. So she will not meet the chairman. So she will not meet the chairman of PLU. She will not meet General SS. But she has met the people of Mbale. She has written to the chairman of her party. So the question to you, Abdul, is this question not done and dusted?
Well, thank you, Oscar, and I'm sorry I'm late. In politics, 1 day, 1 week is a very long time.
Right.
Anything can happen. But having said, I was listening to Lydia, and I've heard even the Honorable Chairman Mao said that, they are not supposed to campaign, and I'm like, which ladies are they reading? Rule 5, and by the way, I'm the boss of the rules.
In the Rules Committee.
I have been for the last 5 years. Only applies to members of parliament. You cannot be a non-MP, and that rule applies to you. So Lydia, stop parading that rule. You are not campaigning be what and so on. No, you are not a member. You're only a member after being sworn in.
Taking oath of office.
As it is now, you are not any different from Joseph Ochen.
No, she's an elect. Ocheno
Yeah,
is
but
not.
legally, that's where it ends. Legally. And some of them have not even been gazetted. Yes, others are being gazetted. So it can only be effective rules of to apply to them when they have been sworn in. And the reason was that once you are members of parliament, then you conduct business in a certain way. They are not bound by now. Now all of them can do anything. By the way, this thing, I'm not campaigning, but I'm writing so-and-so, I'm meeting so-and-so, I went to Maluku. That is purely campaigning. You're actually talking to people. And there's nothing wrong with it in my view. The country should be prepared for it because we know that we shall need a speaker. So we are going to talk about it. And those people who are, okay, they are prospective, like my sister Lydia here, have all the right to talk to everybody, to write to people, to call MPs who are elect, and including those who are outgoing, because somehow they could advise them on how to go about getting into that office. So, yes, the campaign is okay until they have been sworn in. And once you are sworn in, please go by the rules. Having said that, Oscar, we go to who should be the speaker. I think it depends on who is answering that question. One, this process is going to be governed by the law, but by also the politics. The law in the sense that you need to qualify, and all MPs qualify, all of them, regardless of the parties, regardless even of the whether you came on affirmative action, youth, women, like of one point, all of them qualify, all members of parliament, except those who have been appointed as ministers and therefore they become ex-officio members of parliament. Those are the ones who are disqualified. But in any case, they become ex-officio members of parliament after the speaker has been elected and sworn in, because the one who presides over their approvals and so on through the appointments committee. So legally, all of them qualify. Now, after you've legally qualified, then what happens? The politics come in. What do the stakeholders think? For example, the ruling party, are they ready to front Mr. Katana as a party member, as a speaker? Those are the questions. Or do you float somebody who is now associating with you, and then he comes from a minority party in parliament, which sometimes is very difficult to appreciate. And let me tell you why. The Honorable Chairman Mao, very brilliant and very good friend of mine, has had a big challenge. You know, he has been seated on the side of government, and his party members have been seated opposite. and when he stands up and says, for example, you people in the opposition, and is pointing to some of his party members. So it's a very difficult position he's in, actually, both legally and politically. So is it the sort of person you would want now to say, okay, now you are the speaker, irrespective of his party position? Two, I think parties now, even if it was in the national unity platform, would want to have what they call a loyalty. So you people who are aspiring, my sister Lydia, the first thing would be loyalty to your own party. Who of these is more loyal to the party? That's the first, before you do anything beyond it. And what do you expect a speaker to deliver on?
And what is real?
What is loyalty? What do you expect you as a ruling party? What do you expect your speaker to deliver on? Each and every position of the party it must be delivered on. Now, who of you standing now can have? I don't know how to put it. Who of you standing now can deliver each and every aspect of a party agenda? So don't lie to yourself. There's history to it, and everybody knows those who are moving around and so on. It will not be rhetoric that whoever talks well, and if it was so, there's one candidate who would be most unopposed. But this has nothing to do, when I was a Gidi president, when I stood against Betty Gombe, there were very few people. Oh, please. It will not be that. The
dynamics are different.
The dynamics are different. People are going to be looking at us as a party who can deliver our agenda. And whoever of these can deliver the party agenda, and the chairman of their party is convinced, will be the next speaker, irrespective of other considerations. And even before I end there, I've been watching as a participant from 2001. In 2001, when you had just gone to Parliament, we had a crisis.
You were young Parliamentary Association.
Yes, no, that had been in the 6th Parliament, but now we are talking about the 7th Parliament. The name of Benny Watcher was floated. Yes. Looking around, he was the best candidate. And he had the support of the biggest constituents. The biggest constituents at that time, biggest in terms of influence, the army representatives. All of them supported Ben Watcher. Now, when we went, and I was his agent. So first of all, we went for dinner in the State House in Nakasero. It ended at around 9:10. Then they said, now let's go and talk politics at the conference center. So from 10, I hope I'm not taking the Tabaro route. But so we went to the conference center.
We have consensus with my teacher.
When we reached the conference center, much as the army was clearly openly to Mokonde, Mayombo, everybody was openly campaigning for Ben Watcher. And everybody thought really he's the best suited. The Uganda and the Catholic ganged up, and they said they needed it. And people like Nankabiro and others, all of them fronted. No, I said the Uganda and Catholic, both of them. The Janet Mukwai, all of them said, no, Ben Watcher is good, but
the thing is ours.
The loyalty. And at that time, by the President Museveni, I need to give him credit. When he came, he didn't campaign for anybody. When he didn't, he was like, what do we do? The armies were moving up and down. Then I saw the army members being summoned. And at the conferences, there is a back room there. They summoned them and said, okay, now we have a crisis. There's this biggest constituency, which is very royal, and it wants Edward II Kiwanuka. So I think we better abandon this. Now, eventually they came, I think of this, they came and agreed, and now kept quiet. Then the president said, yes, I know there's the name of Benny Watcher, because he saw Benny Watcher's name had really sold. Yes, he's a good man, he's a good lawyer, and so on. But there is this issue of loyalty. And,
case closed.
Yes, and he says, we can give him something. That's when he offered the Ministry of, I think, State for Environment or Forest or something like that. Of course, which Ben outrightly rejected. And so we can give him something, but for this particular position, let us give somebody who is
and hence. Right, Honorable Sakandi. Moses Biarwanga has reminded you that the fifth person was Kadaga.
Actually, it was. Rebecca Kadaga was the fifth person.
So, Joseph Ocheno, I don't know if you read, Fonopondo had a very scathing article, totally addressing Mao. And that article, it like in Uganda, they say, Yali Ali Dobuka. And I upgraded it, Yali Ali Denumba.
No, I didn't, except that I saw it, so I didn't really go into the details.
I'll send it to you. It's worth a read.
Please, yes. I actually think I have
a higher level of insult. He really delved into Mao language.
I was.
How can worth reading be insults? Who wants to read insults?
Mao is very good with that.
Ofono insulted the late Semogereri, and I was like,
okay, whom has the ever insulted?
That's a good question.
Salam Musumba. You remember the exchange at the conference center too?
It was very relatives, very high level.
Actually, I think regardless, I did honestly didn't expect that that would be the tone that my good brother Fono would take. Number two, I think where we are as a country, I'm not quite sure whether it's necessarily the most advised thing, really, for all of us, particularly those who continue in active polity. I think we need genuine moderation. And for people who are privileged like Lydia, going into the much more mainstream in terms of elective polity, I wish you well. And in the event that you became the speaker, I would like to see that you provide leadership so that languages that are unnecessary are sort of kept back. But that said, I am disappointed that you guys are confining this to 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95. No, I want us to context. Because then you risk limiting it to non-experience of NRM. No. This thing's not about UPC, NRM monolithic polity. But I think the point that Abdu has raised is one of those things that actually not particularly very commonly known in terms of the discussion that nearly led to Ben Wacha becoming speaker. The nearest to doing something constructive under NRM administration was bound to be advising Jacob Olanya as speaker, partly because I had the confidence that really had the take and I had a conversation with him. But number two, because I generally knew that we need a legislative assembly which is strong, which is organized, which is exemplary, one which people who follow Abdu and Lydia should look up to it as an institution and look up to representatives there as people who are real mentors.
In short, Mao.
The principle of this is this: that Parliament is too important. No, I'll not stick to individuals. Parliament is too important an institution to be localized to this. Genuinely, we need to know what it is as a legislative organ. We need to have real leaders, and that's why I believe that when looking at this, we need to be able to contextualize what has Anita done in the last 5 or so years. What was the performance of the persons before her? And I was trying to say that if you look at it and maybe pull it from independence, what is the role of Parliament? Really, I don't think this is election of a speaker should be a matter for caucuses. Caucuses should really be able to advise. In my opinion, like Abdu again is saying, Parliament is an assembly of people who are requiring a prefect. Granted, the biggest number would be the ruling political party, in this case, NRM. But really, if legislators are looking at somebody who's going to be the presiding officer, who's the enabler, who's the critic, somebody who's able to play politics cross-bench, it doesn't matter whether or not they come from the ruling political party. But by and large, it would appear that people take interest. But when interests become like those that people talk saying candy, so I want a Catholic rather than somebody who's actually going to be a genuine presiding officer to balance the process. Part of where I don't slightly disagree with Abdu is that the party agenda, whereas it's obviously understandable, we need a solid person to manage big legislative programs. But the work of the speaker should really not be pushing a party agenda. That should be the job of the chief whip. In any case, actually, in a normal democracy and a future democracy in which UPC is actually the helm, we would really want to make sure that the speaker, if the UPC speaker, you don't see a UPC speaker being partisan, going to bottle up with people around Makerere, around particular corner of Ntungamo, candidate A, B, C, candidate A. No, that is ideally something which is too big for them. And for that reason, it should be, even if it's from a governing political party, it should be somebody who's much more moderate, much more deep, much more fair, and much more specific and detailed. On this occasion, whatever happens,
like Lydia.
Someone like Lydia, and Lydia will do a fantastic job.
Let's go to Benjamin.
Shrine in Maruku. In fact, because you yes, I want to start by withdrawing my endorsement of Lydia because of Maruku. But that is besides the
Benjamin is on microphone.
That is besides the
gone.
Yeah,
Benjamin gone.
Because Mbale are listening, and they are done to.
No, you didn't go to Maruku because of Mbale people. You went to Maruku because of Museveni, and you have mentioned it here. So don't hide behind Mbale people. It is a shrine in that context. But that is besides the point. I think the architecture of our constitution intended to create the checks and balances through institutions like Parliament. But over time, I think that has largely been lost, in a sense that the institution of Parliament looks, especially the leadership, they look at, for example, presiding over Parliament as a deployment, not just from NRM, but from Museveni. That's why when they are going to seek the chances of winning, and we have been here advising Lydia that instead of going to meet leaders, you should go and meet Salim Saleh and go and meet the leader of PLU, all of whom come. No, the leader of PLU, the supreme chairman of PLU is Mohozi, all of whom come from the same family.
Tabaro will call them elephants.
Yeah, Tabaro would call them elephants, but I choose to use their names. I'm sure they wouldn't be happy being referred to as elephants. Maybe as...
But go on.
I'll not go to that. So, that itself shows you the orientation of the individuals that seek to be the presiding officers of the 12th Parliament. The Honorable Katuntu and rightly said that parties look for loyalty. But I think while doing so, if we are intentional about building a democracy, of course we are not at the moment, especially the Edgar's party, you would have a presiding officer who is loyal to the party, but has the presence of mind to know that while you preside over the house, you have a constitutional duty and mandate not to take partisan direction.
Some people would argue that
so.
Anita Among has done that.
How has she done so?
That she has been speaking to opposition members and so on.
She has been quarreling with opposition people both in house and outside house. I don't think that is conduct expected of a house speaker.
I think some of the opposition members have been accused because they have associated with her.
Yes.
Actually, many of the
she has been involved in chicken fights both on the floor and outside with
being a very close associate of the Right Honourable Speaker.
On the last show, that's what I hear. About the same matter, Lydia challenged him to disclose his interest, but that's besides the point. So, the 12th Parliament, regardless of who is Speaker, is going to do Museveni's bidding. Whether it is Mao, whether it is Lydia, whether it is whoever.
And when has that been different?
Well, that is why under Museveni, yes, so because there has been a fusion, and it is not starting with the 12th Parliament. There has been a fusion of the state and the individual. That is why state institutions like Parliament look at themselves as, especially the leadership, they look at themselves as individuals that have been deployed to do work for Museveni, not for the people of Uganda. And that is not about change in the 12th Parliament.
Your microphone, so continue.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, because you are heckling, which is characteristic of NRM people and RDCs. So it is a combination of two problems. Yeah, so that's why I think even the debate about who becomes the speaker, who doesn't become, does not add much value to the political discourse in our country, because the institution, in any case, if Lydia here, in the unfortunate event that she becomes speaker, especially now that chooses to be on the side of the people, Museveni can easily have her impeached if he wants. So the parliament as an institution, I think, can play a very, very minimal role in execution of its mandate of checks and balances, because it is squarely under captivity. And the debate of who becomes the speaker or who doesn't become the speaker, it is not of significant importance to the political discourse of our country. Yeah.
Thank you. We still have 5 minutes to the break. Fred Bamwine, the topic is still there. The debates are going, and Honorable Katuntu, chairman of House Rules, has said we can continue.
But even here, what we are doing now is campaigning.
For who?
And raising candidates and saying who should be speaker, what kind of...
Okay.
It's campaigning itself.
For who? You campaign for who you want.
Once we mention the speaker should be of this caliber, you are helping the voter to look at the candidates available. But me, I don't like to pretend. The issue of the speaker, it is basically two things. One is political. Nobody should gross about it. It has been a political contest. We have finished one layer of elections. We are now going to another layer of elections. So people are going to compete. And the ruling government, which won the election, it must do whatever it can, its means, to make sure that the coming speaker is that person who has the capacity to deliver the manifesto of that party. Politically, not about it. So, as far as I'm concerned, actually I sympathize with Mao. I saw him in TV the other day, and he was asking...
You sympathize with him?
Yes, because he was asking a question. People have been accusing me that I'm NRM. Now I hear NRM, they are not putting me on a short list. They say, but I represent this NRM in international forums, signing agreements as NRM.
Vice chairperson of the Uganda Development Forum. National Development Forum.
So he says, how can I be discriminated at this time? I need also to be on the short list. So I don't know whether you can campaign for a short list by now, or you should have done it before.
Who has created the short list?
Because the short list that is being mentioned...
Let him finish.
Lydia has told you she's a founder member of the party. Yes.
Of NRM?
Yes. 2005, she's a member. She's a founder member.
He has put it right. He has said Lydia has told you. Yes. So you can't dispute what Lydia has told you.
But even there's a book. There's a book for founder members. There's a book for founder members. She's among the... Then two...
Fred Bamwine, please go on.
Then two, in her narration, when she was going to declare, she went to the circles, and Katana mentioned it as a shrine, but she went in the foundation of NRM, as far as for NASA, where the President Museveni was supposed to be killed, where he lost his friends.
So Mr. Katuntu,
Maruku. I don't know. The name may not be good, but Maruku contributed to NRM.
Go on, Mr. Bamwine, continue. We have 1 minute to the break.
Three.
Yeah.
We have already two people who are speakers, the speaker and the deputy speaker, who were endorsed by Sheikh last time. Then we have other people who have declared so. I've had Namuganza, I saw an MP from Aringa, But from Western, I think his constituencies. So others are coming. So as far as
Others are coming?
Yes.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, this is
As far as you're concerned?
This is NRM House.
Yeah.
And they are going to look at the NRM rules. What do they say? How are flag bearers endorsed by SEC? And once SEC has sat and endorsed whoever is going to be endorsed, that will be the speaker and the deputy speaker. So my advice to.
But your advice to?
My advice to Lydia.
Advice to?
My advice to Lydia.
Your advice to Lydia, yes. Gone?
My advice to Lydia is to look at first of all, the party chairman has a key interest in this position because he's the leader of the party and he knows he wants to where the country is going.
Advice. You are advising and you have gone off.
Two, SEC members are there. Before you go even to the members who are going to vote for you. Because whoever is not going to be endorsed by SEC as a flag bearer cannot win that position.
Dynamics are different.
It hasn't, but we have history. We have history to talk about. Did she win?
No, she did.
You come out here. So, Bamine, first pause there and we stop for a break. We stop for a break. Welcome back to the gang, final section. Fred Bamine, I had allowed you another 2 minutes.
Yes. So, the issue of the speaker, as far as I'm concerned, NRM, first of all, need to look at the rules. What do they say regarding the election of the speaker? Two,
what rules? Parliamentary rules?
No, party, the party rules. But two, there is a growing concern. SEC, they are about Saturday. Okay. There's a growing concern that SEC is a smaller body. But we are members here who are about 400 members of this party. Why don't we have an opportunity to decide who should be our speaker as a party, as flag bearers in the party? That's a debate that is emerging now. So I think, to me, as far as I'm concerned, politically, it is time for the party now to go back in the bedroom. I was also, when I was talking about Mao, I don't know, I have not looked at the cooperation agreement with Mao, with DP. Who
has?
I don't know, assuming in that cooperation agreement, assuming there is a clause saying DP members will be allowed to participate in all party NRM activities. You could send it. So I think it's an area that is opening discussion, and people who are interested in politics.
Okay, but you looked at that.
But once you look at it, you look at the clauses. You never know.
Lydia, who is second member there. Have you read that agreement?
But time has come now. Time has come now to look at it. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, politically, it's an area that we need to open our minds, and we look at where things may not. Maybe even there may be rules which are not favorable to the country or to the party itself. So, if NRM wants to remain united without people leaving, most members of parliament of NRM flag bearers should have a say in who is supposed to be their member of parliament. Now, I had Comrade Ochieno speaking about if it was a UPC speaker. But UPC was here. You are not telling us something new. No. UPC was here twice. No, UPC. How was he elected? No, how was he elected? We are talking about elections of the speaker. How was he elected?
By the House. By the House.
Yes.
And that's my point.
Once you have UPC which failed the parliament twice,
never.
You don't raise it now. After all this period, these are things to reform. By the way,
was that 16 MP the Indian, the one from South Asia?
No.
Oscar, thank you. Just another second, please.
Let me finish.
Yeah, I was giving you some.
So, Honorable Lydia, I would want to request you. This is your time. go and shine.
Yeah, considering the scandals we've had in the last 5 years.
Your voters, look at the leadership of the party and say, I'm here. And this is what I stand
Okay, thank you.
Basically, it's politics.
We're going to have Lydia give the last word on this because she's the
speaker in this house.
She's the speaker in this house. But before you give the last word, I can give a minute to anyone
The
who
eyes
wants
have it.
something to address to Lydia. Go on, Joseph.
No, it is really that Lydia, you should be focusing that on all the parliamentarians should be the ones to determine this, and it should really be about competence. And considering the considering the scandals we've had, considering the corruption in the House, considering the business of the commissioners, considering that some of the more recent speakers, one went ahead and did term limits, another one did age limit, and for you're going to be the speaker of the future. Surely we should make sure that Parliament is an independent body that is able to stand firm against the interest of the corners of what the media refers. But we wish you well.
No, let her answer.
Let her answer. Abdu, would you like a minute? Edgar, would you like a minute?
We are not going to reinvent the wheel. The excitement is there, yes, as of now. But really, to me, I don't see that reason for this excitement. One, it is true and it's quite legitimate and legal for people to have ambition to lead institutions. That is a perfect local with me. But I can see, because you see, Mr. Bamwine, when you say it is high time, because I know, for example, how has the presidential candidate been coming up in the NRM?
Yes.
Do you think that there is a possibility for the National Delegates Conference, you call it the National Delegates Conference, to sit and reject SEC and NEC recommendation? Do you see that possibility about a presidential candidate? So, I think you don't try to change the principle.
Bearing in mind they had one nomination form.
You see, once precedents have been set, you are going to follow them. And let me tell you, one, I can see last time there was a problem because, yes, NEC and SEC decided on Olanya Anita combination. But Rebecca, the Honorable Right Honorable Rebecca, and many others actually rebelled and went ahead, notwithstanding the NEC and the SEC. So there's nothing new. You have some sort of rebellion. As to whether they can perform as much as Rebecca Kadaga did in this parliament is another question. But also, to be honest, Oscar, many people who are coming, they don't see their chances as being speaker. One, they want their names to be there. And eventually on the table, it's okay. Bamwine don't mind. We can there are many things in the Father's Council we can do. Because it has happened. For example, you remember the Right Honorable Thomas Tayeba. At first, he wanted to be deputy speaker, but he was talked out and eventually became the chief whip.
Yeah.
And when circumstances allowed, he eventually became deputy speaker.
Thank you, Abdul.
So
Lydia?
People want to go on the table.
Final words?
I have listened to what you told Katuntu to advise me.
I told Bamwine, not Katuntu.
Even Katuntu said he can have a say, and they have taken notes. But I want to say that I don't just want to be seen or heard. I want to be very firm that I'm expressing interest to be Speaker of the 12th Parliament, and I have what it takes. So make no doubt about that. I also want to give you corrections so that you know, to both what Katuntu has said and Bamwine. We have internal elections in the NRM Parliamentary Caucus, and these names are brought in elections. There is a vote. I want to tell you that we had the 4 people who contested, who were delivered to the NRM Parliamentary Caucus in the last time to be voted. Robin Arakojo went for a vote. Honorable Among went for a vote, and Taiwa went for a vote. So it is not true that SEC is this dictatorial organ that dictates. And I really, because I've been a SEC member and also a worker, there are two different things. I serve the SEC as a staff. as a staff for 12 years because we were backing SEC, then as a SEC member for 10 years. Yes, SEC is a very powerful organ of the party, but let me say this, and I hope that the current SEC members can also come and back me up. You have too much power, you take strength for the party, but there is a window. You give members a breathe. It's also maybe a consoling agency. You go and express your interest, they cancel you, they give options, but SEC has never held the hammer to say you cannot be, we have decided. That has never happened. And you don't, that's not even, if you are talking about presidents, then this will be the first president to look out to people. SEC listens to members. We do anything, even for the speaker.
Edgar, we said she's closing it out.
Even for the speaker. Even for the speaker, the different. No, let me finish, because I don't want you people to, if narratives, maybe for lack of information, or you have your own agenda.
Did you see how I've kept him quiet?
Because I want people to know that SEC is the final organ of our party. It is actually very powerful, but the chair or the members have not used that blocking power, that dictatorial power. It has never happened. If it happened, this is going to be now. Even for the last speakers that served the 2 terms, people that wanted to express interest did, and that conversation happened. But I mean, if you've been privy to this, you can also defend on this. People, even Olanya came contesting all the time, but they would sit him down and say, these are the options, and then they would go to the caucus and explain the process, how it has happened. For Second and Second was never a member of SEC or caucus. He would be there, and then the president would come and say, currently we have Second, he was a member of the CA, he's a senior citizen, he saw us through the referendum in 2005, we give him another. Second has never Second has never been a member of SEC or even in the Parliamentary caucus, but then there was that process to explain, to convince, and to grow consensus. So I don't want anybody to leave here, including Katuntu.
Thank you.
To say, there's this SEC dictatorial, 2 people will come. There was a vote. There has been a vote. People like Nwagaba, Sechikubo, there are so many members of the NRM caucus. They have been consistently expressing interest. Lydia, they don't win, but they are given an opportunity. And it is an insult, an indictment for anybody to think that when you stand out, despite intimidation, which even I see here on Nugang, that we have no chance. Who told you?
So thank you, Lydia.
Allow us to express our interest. It is our right.
I want you to feel that
they're out to come. They're out to come. It's not my business. My business it is to present my interest, and that we shall. And let me finish, Oscar. Let me finish. That we had precedents which have since the last election been broken. We are starting afresh because the presidents were trampled upon. And we are beginning afresh.
Thank you, Lydia.
Beginning afresh.
Lydia, this topic I'll bring you back.
And I want to request people to respect the rules of electing a speaker.
Edgar, you refuse Pan-Africanism and so on.
Yes.
There's a war going on this very minute. Are you aware?
Are you aware? Yeah, Iran and exactly. I wanted to say something about that.
Now that's the topic on the table.
Let me just say something quickly.
No.
The elephant in the room used to rely on the Israeli lobby. Now that Israel is overstretched, their lobby is meh, as the Benjamin say.
There's a war going on this very minute. It has started.
Israel.
Were you expecting that?
Yes.
Why did you expect it? Because they've been negotiating.
Particularly Trump. Trump is paternalistic. The negotiation can only end in his favor. If it doesn't, you prepare for war. He's paternalistic. There's no choice about it. Yeah. So it's not surprising.
His campaign was Make America Great Again, no wars and anything.
And you see, that's a mistake people in this region made. They thought Trump was non-interventionist. And that's why you saw those quick advances to Bukavu and Uvira. A terrible miscalculation that these people made.
Okay. Abdul Katuntu, did you expect this war? Did you expect us to get to this stage?
You see, with the sort of deployment that had been made, and any such deployment is so costly, I don't think there is any reason why the United States would deploy massively with a huge bill, and it doesn't take action. Secondly, Trump is having a little bit of pressures at home. There is nothing new on that he can provide to the American people. So you need to cause another debate, and that's what the American presidents have been doing.
Yeah.
So now it shifts from his domestic policy now to having been the guy who sorted out Iran, which many presidents didn't do, and so on. So and is such a president who can take any decision because it's about him. He's trying to say, okay, I now have 3 years. I think it's remaining 2.5, not even 3 now. What is it that I can do and make history as the first or the only American president? Yes, it's just to.
Well, he's saying Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and then he says, you people, you are going to have a new government.
Many American presidents have been engaging Iran. You remember there was an accord between Barack Obama and Iran, and with the atomic energy in Australia, in Austria, Vienna Agreement, to have Iran's nuclear program monitored, and it looks like it was even the European Union was happy with it. Then he changed it. So to me, President Trump is making his own history.
Okay.
And there is no use going to
Mr.
make
Intelligence
it now without doing that.
Mr. Intelligence, Fred Bamwine. Is this what you expected?
But you see,
already you are not happy with America intervening in Congo, but now America is intervening in Iran.
In international relations, states have no permanent friends. They have permanent interests. So what you're seeing, this posture of America, it's nothing. It's not even political. It is purely economic and hegemony.
Where's the economics in? Katuntu says it's politics more than economics.
You bring Iran to its knees. There's something called Mr. Oil. There's something somebody called the leader of that, because Iraq no more, Syria no more, Yemen no more. Now you cannot allow another group to emerge. So put them to their knees. America needs all these resources, not for today, for years to come. That's why the other day when they picked the Venezuelan president, the issue was tanks of oil going. They have told you the killing of these people in the Congo.
Supplies 30% of the world's
so it is resources, American resources, for years to come. So America is saying, where are resources, we need them. So I don't want anybody to challenge me. So anybody coming up to challenge America must be put down. That's why I was saying, Mr. Edgar, you are making a very big mistake. In an effort when we are trying to say maybe Africa can be one country through regional blocks, then we can also pose a question.
With the Panafricanism.
Then you say, they should be crushed. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, the war in Iraq, because if that big democracy, as they claim, how could you allow the mayhem that has been taking place in Gaza? And is it a deaf ear or a deaf eye? And the world is going on normally. They say you are not democratic, and you are sponsoring these massacres. So as far as I'm concerned, this is about strategic resources, about strategic hegemony.
Thank you.
To make sure that no
Benjamin
any power can emerge in its
Was
time.
America energized by the kidnap of Venezuelan president?
Well, I think they have a relationship. And I want to agree with Honorable Katuntu that especially after the deployment of its prized military hardware, the Abraham Lincoln worship, the Gerald Ford worship. I don't think they were doing this in vain. It was predictable that there was escalation of military tensions with Iran. I also want to state that I don't think this is strictly about Iran, but about the world order. And if you look at the matrix, you will not discount the involvement of China and the movement towards there has been a deliberate campaign movement towards a multipolar world, and which would in a way undermine the hegemonic power of the US. And I think Trump's strategic direction has been, because the previous administrations largely were relying on NATO to hide behind NATO and do a number of things. But I think under Trump, he's doing most of the things singularly, as the US projecting the might. He doesn't even like NATO. Yes, the might and the power of the US. And if you look at the Venezuelan situation, there's also an element of oil. There's an element of China. If you look at when he assumed office this term, I think the most singular enemy of America in his definition is China. And he started by moving with tariffs. And I think maybe that did not deliver the results he wanted. And now he has engaged another gear of making sure that America maintains its global influence and power.
Joseph? Joseph?
Just 1 second. You see, let us look at the timing. Iran has been very close to Moscow.
Yes.
As it is now, Moscow is engaged in a war with Ukraine. So America thinks this is the time, because Russia now, there's nothing it can do about this. Because if Russia didn't have the war with Iran, with Ukraine now, by now it would be talking tough. We can't allow this and so on. But now
they are busy.
They are busy.
They're even recruiting from Uganda and Kenya.
Everywhere, including
Joseph, your comment? Hold on. I'm going to get Lydia and Edgar about
it's really a sad day for this country. It's a sad day for this continent, and a really sad day for the world. For me, yesterday I was in court, and apparently I bumped on a group of young students. Apparently some university students have been hoarded in jail over the last several months, and it's not hitting the headlines. And Fred, you should be ashamed about this, that university students are being, as a regime, we need to be building, we need to be educating, we need to be building, and need to be equipping a country and a continent. Whatever is happening is basically an indictment on your regime. You guys came in and sided with Americans and everyone else, and created a situation in which these guys go to
they're political prisoners as well. And then you have a pardon.
Indeed, this continent should be consolidating itself, and that's why I was very critical about the question of what's happening in Congo. But it's not an easy swipe to Edgar. You guys were the official updogs in 30, 40 years ago. Today you're just uncomfortable because you're off the table. But whatever's happening going forward, it's been talked about as a resource thing. America is doing these things unilaterally, and the world is getting towards much more unsafe space. And I don't see young Africans and African leaders, other than people who are transactionalists, getting involved in it.
And then Lydia will speak last.
In 1989, with the fall of the collapse, the imminent collapse of the communist bloc, Soviet Union, the fall of the Berlin Wall, Francis Fukuyama penned an essay which was developed into a book, The End of History. He defined history as linear, evolutionary, and predicted that the fall of communism was going to the corollary was development, linear corollary was development of radical Islam. And therefore the next clash was going to be the Western civilization and radical Islam. Given that background, yes. Given that background, listen to me, Bwana RDC. Now, the likes of Trump see themselves as custodians, as the czars of the and spokespersons of the so-called civilized Western civilization. So what we are having is very predictable. And I see, you saw what he did in Nigeria with Boko Haram. I see him going also in Cape Delgado in Mozambique, because he's trigger happy. He has the drones, he has the ships. You saw the attack on Venezuela. 150 aircrafts. I mean, that's where the world is going.
You.
So this war is not surprising at all.
Thank you,
Israeli
Lydia, speaking last on anything she'd like to speak about.
The world order is changing very fast, and if people or leaders of the world do not see this, they will always maybe end up making mistakes and living by shock or handling what we call postmortems. The African Union, Africa, has been struggling to be on the table as permanent members of the UN Security Council. Edgar, you've been following this, the world order, but they cannot make it. It has, you see, even that alone, it's a big issue just to be permanent members, and yet the bulk
you have betrayed us,
and yet the bulk of the conflict that gives the mandate or life to the UN Security Council is in Africa. So things are happening. We can come here and debate, but it is very, very difficult. We are like in a small bottle. You know this story of being in a small bottle and you are all fighting each other when the one who has put you in the big bottle, I mean the small bottle, is just watching on. That's what is happening to the world order. That's
thank you. It's a good time to say thank you to the listeners of the Capital Gang. Joseph wanted to add in.
Just that this is really a time for students and young people in this continent to mobilize and organize. And it's really sad that in Uganda, university students can't even hang around their squares to express sentiment. It's that weakness in their countries and as a continent and in this country that the Americans are now unilaterally going out. When America attacked Libya, I was a deputy head of student campaigns and against America in the streets of Kampala. Today we are not about 1986. Yes, and when they did the Angolan thing, we need to mobilize and organize and say no to these guys and push back.
But Joseph has a point. You cannot fold your hands and say, now that America... I think...
The point, Oscar, is that
more so all of us who have microphones, we must continue encouraging
fight civic engagement locally and expect the students to have civic engagement internationally when they cannot engage internally. Today at Makerere University,
so why do you have
if the students organize and
but you have a microphone now.
They are disqualified.
What's your view? You have a microphone now.
So thank you, listeners of the Capital Gang. Continue following us on our social media platforms. Thank you, Edgar Tabaro. Such a pleasure to have you with your student and your teacher, Fred Bamwine. Thank you, RDC. Thank you, Hon Katuntu, Joseph Ocheno, Benjamin Katana, and our speaker, Lydia Wanyoto. We the speaker of the gang, yes.
Party
of the largest opposition party, yes. The NRM,
largest opposition party in Uganda.
That's Katana. He's the money man there.
He's the money man.
So I am Oscar Semoyam Soke, and I shall see you next week.